IGT, baby.
I gotta be honest with y'all. That main event segment with Roman and Punk was absolute garbage. What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Dream Mafia coming back to you with another video. So we gotta talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw, the go home show for WrestleMania. And I'm gonna be honest with a couple of crash outs that we had, on the show and all that. It just didn't execute how we all expected, but we'll get to that, later on in the video. So we got to talk about what kicked off the show. So we had Adam Pearce and we had Triple H in the ring, and they have the contract in their hands, and was having Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi sign it, separately, so there don't be no interactions with each other and a battle with fisticuffs. So you have Paul Heyman coming out there, and he introduces Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar makes his way to the ring and all that stuff, and he signs the contract, and of course they're gonna be, talking their shit as always about Brock gonna be dominating Oba at WrestleMania, how they gonna come out and win and conquer him, all of that stuff. So once it was done, they said what they said. They left out. So, later on the show, we had Oba come out there, and Oba building as always, man, doing the Oba strut, and you hear the crowd like they're very loud, and you could tell who they want to win in this match. So he goes in there, he signs the contract. So he gets the mic like he about to say something, but out of nowhere you see Paul Heyman, appear by the ring barrier. So he's pretty much saying like, I know what you're capable of. You were dominant, man. You starting to ascend, on the main roster right now, and you the hottest thing right now for WWE. And you a dangerous man. And I know that personally, so that's why I'm gonna stand right here, and I'll say I need to say why I'm here. And pretty much was saying that, you an upcoming guy, you the next big thing, and you have a lot to bring to the table. But you know who else had the same thing as well? Brock Lesnar. So everything he kept naming off and all that, he kept putting Brock Lesnar name attached to it. So it was at a point where he kept telling him like, you're gonna be victimized, conquered by the beast and all. And when it's all said and done, and you gotta find a way to pick yourself back up after losing all of that steam and stuff, and the crowd not being with you anymore, my door is always open to you. So of course Oba ain't trying to hear that nonsense, and he was saying like, listen, you talking about opening your door for me, you can say that. Like, I know at the end of the day who I am is somebody who's going to dominate the beast, is who's going to put him out of his misery, and is looking to be here long term, and saying how he's dominant, he's number one, and he's him pretty much. I'm trying to like, saying it verbatim, but just saying what I already know from what I've been watching. Like, me talking about it don't do it justice. Y'all had to see for yourself. He definitely killed it on the mic and kept it real. They didn't have to say that much, and kept it simple and plain, and a direct message to both Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, of what he's going to do at WrestleMania, when they have their match. So I definitely like that promo, and it definitely felt like this was the W build leading into WrestleMania, bar none. Like, Oba and Brock stole the fucking show, from the minute he accepted the challenge to where we are right now, as we're a couple days away from Mania. They definitely stole the show, man. And that was a dope segment there. I enjoyed it a whole lot, and looking forward to this match. So I can't wait for that. We also had a segment with Stephanie Vaquero was gonna go into the ring and have an interview with Kathy Kelly. So look, she was about to say something, but out of nowhere, you see Liv Morgan come from the crowd and attack Stephanie. And as they brawling, I didn't realize it, but Kathy Kelly got caught in the crossfire, and she ended up getting hurt. So we seen a brawl between the two and all that. The other JG's going in trying to separate them and all. And you see Liv Morgan, she grabs a mic and she was saying that, still saying things about Stephanie's mom and all that stuff, and saying that how she raised the bitch and all. And of course that was going to trigger Stephanie to say bump that and get right in the ring, and they start brawling again and stuff. So they had to separate them, but this was so dope to see. Like, every single time that you saw Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer in the same exact ring or anywhere else, you knew a crash out was coming. If Fitz was going to be flying around. You seen that happening. And I love the build up to, they match as well. Like, they really, ramped it up a whole lot now and making it a must watch, to see and all that stuff. And I enjoyed it for what it was. And I can't wait for their match at WrestleMania. Also, we got to talk about Gunther. So he coming out there, and it looked like he was gonna, say we need to say directing, towards Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins didn't waste no time, goes in there and goes on full crash out mode on the Gunther and all of that, but Gunther ain't able to get away. And you see Seth grabs the mic and proceeds to say that to Gunther that was your receipt coming to you and all that for what you done. And kept bringing up to Gunther, like, what was your purpose on wanting to fight me at WrestleMania? He said it was because of you aligning yourself with Paul Heyman and all that. And he just kept telling, like, yo, I just need to know why before I beat your ass at WrestleMania. And was letting me know, like, listen, you need to pretty much answer what was the point, like the point of all of this. Is it personal or, or what's going on? Like, what is it? So Gunther goes, grabs the mic, go in there, and he's like butting heads with Seth Rollins, saying that it's personal. It's personal because that you thinking that you're the best, when you come out of that ring and all that stuff, and you that top guy and all that. But in reality, I'm gonna be there to prove to you that I'm not top guy. I'm the person that everybody else should be fearing the most and all that stuff. And Kevin's simple as ever with that. He haven't gone into detail that he aligned himself with Paul Heyman and all that. So he said, I just wanted to accept that challenge right there and do my, on Paul Heyman by beating you and all that, and making a statement that you're not that top guy on Monday Night Raw, that I am, and kept it simple there. So it's not like he made it in a situation of he aligned himself with the vision or anything like that. He was saying that I just wanted to beat you at WrestleMania to let you know that I'm not dominant superstar on this roster. Keep in mind, he still haven't gone into detail of what Paul Heyman owes him when it comes to that favor thing. Because remember, he mentioned that to them, the minute he got into it with Seth Rollins. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Whatever the case is, they never brought up about the whole, the favor thing. So I definitely want to see when that ended up getting brought up again, what's the meaning behind that. So we'll see. We'll go down there, and we got to talk about there's Roman and CM Punk interaction. So before the show had started, we had this little political promo package from Roman Reigns, and he was pretty much was saying that, with CM Punk after this past weeks, and him saying what he was saying last week and all, and saying that it's just been embarrassment, it's been a waste of time, and how he calling him a liar and a hypocrite, all that stuff. And even mentioned with Pat McAfee, when Pat McAfee brought up the ticket sales and how they've been trashed. So, Roman had to shut that shit down and all that, and let him know, like, he's irrelevant. but put his attention on Punk and was saying that tonight, you know, I want you to tell the truth. And if you don't, I'm going to say it. Then towards the end of the video, it says, I'm Roman Reigns and I approve this message. And then I'm looking like, what the fuck was that? Like, that was just stupid. Stupid of a political promo package that they had, you know, for him and all that stuff. But we ended up getting that. So later on the show, you see Roman Reigns comes out there and, you know, he's just aura farming as always. And gets into the ring, tells him to acknowledge me and all. But then CM Punk music hits. So now they ain't wasting no time. And you see Roman, he's thinking that he's going to probably come through, you know, Gorilla and make his way towards the ring. But Punk ends up, you know, coming in through the crowd. So as he doing that, he grabs the mic, he get up there, and, you know, pretty much was saying that you want me to tell no lies and to keep it real. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So as he's about to go up the steps, you hear Roman clearly says, you get into this ring and we ain't gonna need these mics anymore. Let it be known, like, we're gonna throw hands. So tread lightly on what you're doing. So Punk stands on the outside of the ring and he was saying, like, you want me to be truthful? Here's the truth right here. I hate you, but I envy you. I envy you because of you being born into this business, getting everything handed to you on a silver platter, and even mentioned about, despite all that nonsense, that you also been busting your ass, you know, to be at the top that you are now, especially after all the trial and tribulations you had to go through and all that stuff. Even mentions about, you know, Roman eclipsing Punk's title ring. You know, you knew that was going to get brought up as well, and that was where, you know, it got to him. He even goes on and apologizes about Sika and mentioning him, saying that, you know, Sika is a champion, Sika's a Hall of Famer, and how much he did for the business. So as he's doing that and apologizing to Sika, he gets into the ring. Now remember what I just said. Roman clearly said to him, if you get in this ring, we're dropping this right and we're fighting. When Punk got into the ring, none of that shit happens. So it's like, did you just renege or something? And now it's kind of like they going on this little apology rant right now. So Punk let it be known, like, yeah, like, I hate you, but I envy at the same time what you did, and now I felt jealous because of you, you know, having, you know, this royal family that you was able to come into WWE with. With me, I didn't have that at all, and I ain't had no family, you know. And saying that, you know, he been touring around, you know, different places, like, you know, in California, in New Japan, you know, all around the Indies and all that, and even at bowling alleys, all this other stuff to make friends, you know, and that's what he considered, like, you know, his family and all. And mentioned about, you know, with Roman having everything, you know, in WWE that he had to scratch and claw for the whole lot, and even mentions about him main eventing at WrestleMania. It really, like, got under his skin a lot. So he said all that shit to say, and towards the end of it brings up that regardless of that the result's gonna stay the same, and that's me retaining the World Heavyweight Championship and walking out of WrestleMania with it. And bloody and beat up, that this old man gonna handle the job. So in the midst of that, he's saying, like, I'm telling any lies, Roman? I'm just speechless. So when Roman picks up the mic, he says, that's the truthful thing that I ever heard you say, except the last part. And he mentions about, I hate you too. And he said, I hate you because of just how you connect with the fans. And I'm thinking, like, really? Because they connected with the fans, and, you know, being his, being his time in the business and all that when he was gone, that for the 10 years that he was absent, people still continue to chant his name and all that, regardless of so. So he says all that and then mentions that, but that's all like a fantasy. And here's the reality thing. And the reality of the situation is that I'm going to pack you up at Mania. And instead of saying still is going to be a new world heavyweight champion, and that is going to be more dollars, that is going to be sent out more now. People going to watch the product more, and you're going to acknowledge me and all that stuff. And then that's how the whole show ended. It left myself and pretty sure everybody else confused of like, what the fuck was that? We didn't expect that at all. In fact, for me, I was expecting like, okay, what's Roman mentioned about him getting into this ring? Like, if he gets into this ring, dropping his mind, we fighting. If I'm Punk, I would like bump that. It's like, I'm gonna get into him, jump this way, and we're gonna fight again, and then we're gonna have the JGs to come break that up. I would have rather that than go on this whole apology rant. Like, not to say it was terrible, but it's like, let this be the final time that y'all literally see each other until WrestleMania. It just felt flat, and they kind of shot themselves in the foot here. Because albeit, had WrestleMania happened 2 weeks ago, we would have been fine with that. Because let's keep it real, CM Punk single-handedly been carrying this entire feud leading up to their match. And that was my biggest issue, because I said Roman Reigns has to carry his weight as well. I didn't want to be a situation where it just become a whole CM Punk thing. He comes out talking on the mic and all that stuff and, try to really build it up and all. But Roman's not there as well to aid on to that. Now, he was there for the past, first, 3-4 weeks. But everything else after that, you rarely saw him. So that was my biggest, situations with that. Like, I had really big issues with that. And I feel like they could have did a way better job, when it came down to the interactions and everything else. So I was upset with that. And I feel like it could have been handled better instead of just being the whole CM Punk thing of this, him talking and all that stuff. Say what he said and then leaves. So that's why I feel like the steam of their match kind of worn off a bit. The last 2 weeks and all, it definitely happened. I mean, albeit, when Punk said what he said last week, that had to be one of the greatest pipe bombs, next to the one he did in 2011. That was dope. But I'm talking about from Roman Reigns' standpoint and him really amping up their match at Mania, he failed at that. He definitely did. All credit to CM Punk and what he did and all that, because he definitely made this shit a must watch. But now it's giving me cause to pause on how I really feel now on who's going to potentially win that match at WrestleMania based on everything going down. So it's definitely going to make me give some time now and really reflect on a lot of things before making a decision on, which I am going to do this Thursday. I'm going to do a recap of both night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania and give my thoughts on that one. But I just had to talk about that because that felt so flat and made me think that, had WrestleMania had came early, I would have been fine where things would have left off, between the feud with Roman and CM Punk. Because I definitely think it started to really lose its steam, for the last 2 weeks and all, for what we got, for the first 3 weeks. So that's how I feel about it and all that. I definitely want to hear how y'all feel about it in the comment section below and all. And what was y'all biggest takeaway from this match and what made you excited for WrestleMania, as we're getting closer now? Is it the Brock and Oba, match? Is it Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan? Is it the women's tag team match as well, which I did like, their interactions as well on the show. I forgot to mention that, but I wanted to bring that up real quick. Definitely love the interaction there, and that was a nice build up from their end. And how you feel about with CM Punk and Roman? So I definitely want to hear y'all opinions in the comments down below. And as always, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop content right here on this channel. But I appreciate your love and support. Roll to 250 subscribers. Continue to keep God first. That's the process of anything that you do at life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Peace.